Next up in chapter 14, we're going to talk about Creative Cloud libraries. So you all have your own account already for the Creative Cloud suite. You're logged in, or you can't even be using Illustrator. So because of that, these cloud libraries are going to be available to you. The libraries in the cloud are a great and very easy way to create and share stored content. Everything from images, just specific colors, or specific text attributes, and they can be shared over all of the Adobe apps. So you might have made it in Illustrator, but it can be used in Photoshop, InDesign, whatever. The other neat thing about the assets that are in the cloud is that they're automatically synced. So if you make a change, they're synced in the cloud, and they can be shared with anybody who has a Creative Cloud account. They're always up to date and ready to go. So if you're working on a group project and you want to share a library with your logos and colors and text attributes, that's a really great thing to do. So we're going to start by adding some assets to the Creative Cloud library. And to do that, we're going to open a file that the book gave us, just so we can use some of the things there and put them into our library. So we're going to do a file open. We're going to navigate to lesson 14. And we're going to select the file called sample right down here and open that. You're probably going to get the warning about the font needing to sync. It's Hobo Standard, I think. I already did that, so mine, you didn't see that pop up for me. But I did have to sync that font from the Adobe Fonts group. So this is the document that we just opened. And we're going to open under Window, we're going to go down and open the Libraries window or panel. It's over here. It's probably nested with properties and layers, but it might already have been there. So I'm just going to click over on it, and you can see that you can create a new library, or everybody has one that's called My Library, and that's where things can get put. In the past, I've had students create one and then share it with me, which is why I have Kahlua Coffee over and over and over again. I should probably clean that up. But it's just a nice way of showing that you can share a library with someone else. So we're going to just add these to the My Library that everybody has. And in that, here's the Share with Others. They're giving us some pointers right now. Here's where we click on it. So what I have from past assignments is I have some artwork, I have some mock-ups, some text, some color themes, some different things that I've shared there already. Let's go to our artboard and make sure nothing is selected. And then with your selection tool, we're going to click on the text that contains the words Play Zone. So we're going to select that. To get that into our Libraries panel, we're just going to click and drag it over here to Libraries, and when the plus sign shows up and it says Text 1, we can let go. I'm going to close this floating window of symbols now as well. So here's the thing called Text 1 that we just added. If we want to come up to this drop-down menu right here, actually View by Type or by Group, we want to view it by type. So just make sure that that is the option that's selected, and you should see this under Text. We're going to double click on the name Text 1 right here, and we're going to name it Surf Zone, not Play Zone. This is going to make more sense when we make the t-shirt, because we're going to actually use the word Surf Zone, not Play Zone. So that is some type that we have saved. And it's really thinking of the attributes of what's the font and the size and the weight, that type of thing. So the text object is now saved in our library. It's still editable as text, and we can use it. With the Play Zone text still selected here on our artboard, we're going to click the plus sign at the bottom of the library panel. So way over here, there's a plus, and we're going to choose, we want to add the text fill color. So it's blue, that's what we are picking up from here, and that is adding a color swatch of that exact blue, and the hexadecimal code, that's what we would use in web coding. If we wanted that to be the background color, we would use this code. All right, so we have the text and we have a color saved from this document. We're going to click on the t-shirt artwork itself, and we're going to drag it into our library. When we get the plus sign, we're going to let go. And then we're going to come back and we're going to click on this shape that's above the word play zone. Hold on, do we need to change the name of our artwork one? I guess we're not renaming that to be a t-shirt graphic. I'm not sure why. Let's just do it. It can't be wrong. So I'm just going to say t-shirt graphic. All right. So we put a couple of things into our actual library. When this syncs, it's going to be available to us on any device when we log in with our own account, and it's going to be available in any of the Adobe programs that can use it. Okay, so this shape on the artboard, we're actually going to use this back in our t-shirt as a clipping mask. We're going to allow only the graphics that are inside of these borders, so to speak, to show up, and it's going to hide everything outside of it. So we're not going to add it to our library, but we are going to use it back in our other document. So we're just going to do a very simple edit and copy. So Command C or edit, copy. We can actually close this document. We don't need to save it. And let's go and open our t-shirt file if we don't have it open. So the final version of our t-shirt was page, double check that, yep, 398. That's the last version that we were working on. So I'm going to open that. You perhaps still have it open. And from here, we are going to do an edit, paste, or Command V. So paste. And there comes that shape from the previous graphic. We're just going to drag it off to the right for now and leave it over here. All right, and then click away to deselect it. While we're still in our t-shirt artboard, let's make sure we have everything in the window. So Command 0 to zoom out. And then we're going to go over and we're going to take this asset that we named Surf Zone, and we're going to drag it from the library onto the artboard. And when we let go, we get the cursor loaded with something that we can paste or click. So we're going to click to place that text. And there it is with a really long bounding box. We have our type tool ready, and we're going to change the word zone to be, the word play to be surf. So it now says surf zone. All right, we're going to take our selection tool and then we're going to grab this t-shirt graphic and we're going to drag it onto the artboard and let go. It doesn't really matter where it goes right now. We have to click to load it also. So wherever it lands is fine for now. And then deselect. So we have all three of these elements on this artboard right now in various positions. So that's using the library assets. The other thing that we want to do is learn how to update a library asset. So when we drag a graphic from the Creative Cloud library over here into a project, it's automatically linked. So it knows it has to go back to the library, and if anything changes in the library, it will automatically update in your document as long as that link is still there. Let's go back to our Libraries panel, and we're going to double click on the t-shirt graphic over here. So you can see it opens it up, and it has this really crazy long name. This is the graphic that's in the cloud. So it's a new temporary document. We're going to take our selection tool and we're going to click on the overall shape of the t-shirt. And then we're going to come to our properties panel and we're going to take the fill, or no, the stroke, I'm sorry. We're going to take the stroke, and instead of being black, we're going to take it to a lighter gray. The version where K is 40. So click on that and notice it got all lighter here. And then we can deselect it. And we need to save this. So we'll do a file, save. That's going to save our cloud library version of it. If we go back to the library, it's actually updated here. We can kind of see that it's a little bit lighter here. And we can close this. And now see how it updated in here as well. Because we updated the linked graphic in the library, it changes here in our document as well. If for any reason this didn't work, the properties panel has, when this is selected, it has linked file. And if you don't see that, there's going to be an update links at the bottom of this, but ours is linked, so we don't have that problem. So this is linked to a cloud document. All right, now we want to select the artwork of the t-shirt on our artboard. We don't want this permanently linked to the cloud. We want to actually embed it in this file so that if we give it to somebody else, they have everything they need. They don't need access to my personal library. So back in the properties panel with this selected, we're going to click on the embed button right here and watch this linked part is going to change. So we're going to embed. Now it's gone. Now it's just a regular group in this file. It's no longer linked, and it will also no longer update. If we change it in the library, it will not change here. It's editable in here, and as a rule, most embedded artwork after it's placed has a clipping mask applied to it, and we'll take a peek at that later. With our selection tool, we're going to select the t-shirt. We are going to move it up a little bit more centered on our page here for one thing. And then we're going to send it to the back. So we can come over here to arrange and we can say send to back. Okay. The artwork is now behind the other content. So we have our t-shirt right here on top, and we can drag it around to the approximate center of the artboard, the t-shirt itself. So that looks pretty good. All right, we're also going to click on this layer and we're going to lock it. We don't want it moving. So in the layers panel, we can click on the padlock right here, or we can use a keyboard shortcut of Command or Control number 2. I'm just going to lock it here, so now we can't select or move the t-shirt. It's locked down. All right, then we're going to work with this shape right here. We're going to click on this shape, and we're going to drag it on top of surfboards. So, how high up? I don't know, about right in there. So it's on top of the surfboards. We might need to make it bigger. I'm going to shift drag so that it stays proportionate. So maybe something like that looks pretty good on top of the surfboards. All right. This shape we're going to use as a mask. So we want parts of the surfboard that are inside of here to show up, but parts that aren't to go away. So with the shape still selected, we're also going to hold Shift and we're going to click on the group of our 3 surfboards. We grouped that previously. So right down here I see it also selected my group of the surfboards and the actual path that we're using as the clipping mask. All right. From there, we want to either click on the Make a Clipping Mask button right here, or you can always choose Object, Clipping Mask. Where are you? There you are, Make. All right, notice how the parts of the surfboard only that weren't inside this shape, we are no longer able to see them. So perfect, that's what we wanted to do. All right, now we want to arrange the surfboard group behind the fish and the flowers. And so with the surfboard group, we're going to click Send to the Back. So Arrange, Send to the Back. Now that went too far back. It also went underneath the t-shirt. If we look here, it went way underneath the t-shirt. So we need to bring it up a step or 2. So Arrange, Bring Forward. There we go. So now the flowers and the fish are above it. We're just going to rearrange this a little bit. So I'm going to grab my fish group and bring them down a little bit like that. And the word surf zone, I must have missed that step, but we're going to put that right about here. All right, that looks pretty good. And we're going to drag a marquee across all of these pieces to select them all. And we're going to group them and then move them into place on our t-shirt a little bit better. There we go. So we have a pretty cool graphic that we just made, all using assets that we had in our library, our Creative Cloud library. All right, let's just save this file so we can come back if we need it. And we are good through page 404. So if you want to add that to your file name and save this document, that's all we need to do. We have one last topic in our next video, and then we're done with this chapter.